KT7 up here. Today, I will review and showcase 140 Heavensblade Howlet. They have switched around the release schedule again, another all-nighter was pulled to complete this review. As promised, I am putting his video online before his banner drops. If you are new here, I usually do 140 unit showcase video before they are released in global. Subscribe if you want to see how they perform in auto PvP settings. Let's dive right into it. Heavensblade Howlet is a 100 cost ice unit. His main job is Knight of Grace, a magic-based sword-wielding class, with Rune Knight and Cleric as sub-jobs. His TMR is a cloth. It has 477 HP, 13 defense, 3 spirit and 6 accuracy. The ability is a self-buff, for 3 turns increase accuracy by 60. The ability is really good, but it is a cloth which is limiting. Alex Ring is a much better choice. His based magic is the highest in the game at 450, and has a support ability to further increase it. His HP is on the higher side for mages, but all his other stats are just average. And his agility and accuracy are a bit concerning, but he does have support abilities to increase those. He is a magic damage dealer, so his faith is at 97. His weapon type resistances are 20 to slash, 30 to strike, that's including his 140 bonus, and 10 to magic, neutral to pierce and -5 to missile. These works really well with this kit. He can lower enemies' slash and magic penetrations. I will go over them later on. He is another high strike resistance unit. It's too bad that quick pick in global is cancelled. This is supposed to be strike team's time to shine. His status ailment resistances are also very good. 50 to blind, 50 to charm and 10 to stop. These are the most devastating ones in the game for a DPS unit. I would still recommend giving him stop and silence resistance from Truststones if you know you are going up against Dark. He has the base 3 move and 1 jump, and there is no way in his kit to increase his movements. He can equip swords, hats and cloths. Moving on to his mastery and transcendence. Typical 10% HP and 15 ice attack up for ice allies. For himself, he gets 10% magic up and 10 AoE resistance. His 140 gives him healing power up 10, strike resistance up 10. And upgrade to his job level 25 skill to include slash resistance debuff of 30 to the target. Next up is farmable sword. I chose the magic type, but the crit type is very good as well. The general ability is slash penetration up 20. There are 2 additional abilities for a few main jobs, including Rune Knight and Imperial Rune Knight. It will give magic damage up 10% when HP is above 70%. And AoE resistance up 15 when HP drops below 70%. Continuing on to his main job support abilities. The first one is the one you want to have on him all the time. It gives Howlet magic up 24%, slash penetration 40, and dispel haste on targets when his attacks land. This is for all his attacks all the time. A very good ability. The second one is HP up 12%, slash resistance up 20 but lower missile resistance by 5. This is good for specific matchups, but I would not recommend it. He has better support abilities from his sub-jobs. For counter ability, he has magic reflex. 15% chance to evade all incoming magic attacks. This is also matchup specific. Up next is LB. It is a diamond shape AoE up to range 5. Before damage, increase Howlet's spirit penetration by 50, breaks all damage barrier, then deals damage large. It is very often that he would start off with his LB. A large AoE barrier break is very good, just like Sephiroth's Hell Gate attack. Next is main job buffs. His highest priority buff is an AoE around self. Grants to group 30% damage absorption for 3 turns. And for him only, a 50% all damage barrier and reaction block rate up 50 for 3 turns. This buff plays very well with his kit and with Reagan. The 2 of them will be constantly healing themselves. His second priority buff is a self-only buff. For 3 turns, increase his slash and magic resistance by 25. And grants him an additional reaction ability. Chance to counter physical damage. The range is a diamond shape around self, up to 4 panels away, and has a range height of 1. Not bad at all. Moving on to his attacks. The first one on the list is a triangular shape AoE. It will first dispel all buffs, deals medium damage, and lower target slash and magic penetrations by 40 for 3 turns. This plays really well with his innate weapon type resistances. And pairs very well with Ice Jaden, who also has slash penetration reduction. And these two effects can stack. His second attack does magic type damage. Single target, up to 4 panels away. First break magic damage barrier, then deals damage large. And absorb 30% of the damage dealt. It does stack with his damage absorption buff. Next, his low AP ability. Another single target attack, up to 3 panels away. Deals small damage and 25% chance to inflict slow. Basic finishing move, moving on. Next, his final attack in his main kit. Also has 3 range and a single target attack. Prior to damage, remove all debuffs from self, then lower target slash resistance by 30 for 3 turns, then deals damage large and absorb 30% of the damage dealt. Another damage absorption skill. He has a lot of it from his main kit. However, all his attacks have short range, the highest being his LB, at 5. He is meant to buff up, move forward, take damage, absorb HP and try to outlast the enemy. I will show a match of how this works. Now let's go over his sub jobs. In his Rune Knight sub, he gets Ice Enhancing Rune, increase ice attack and lower resistance to fire. Never run that. The second support is Sharp Mind. Increase his spirit penetration by 40 and accuracy up 20. Sharp Mind is good, but it is not the one I like the most. For reaction, he gets Magic Commutation. This could work, recover some AP but not the best. The notable active ability from Rune Knight is Drain Evocation. If you run his Rune Knight, this will be his longest range attack. Not a bad one to start off the fight with. He can increase his magic and slash penetration. Next is Cleric sub. The support ability from this sub is Cleric Intuition. Increase his spirit by 15 and agility up by 12%. This is the support ability I like the most. In the current meta, I will take higher agility over spirit penetration all day. The reaction ability is also the one I like to use. Auto Cure, a 20% chance to heal himself after taking damage. Between all his damage absorption and Auto Cure, Howlet can stay alive for a long time. If you decide to run his Cleric sub, be very mindful of the Calamity Guard. He will cast this on all his allies before his own buffs. That will make him lag behind by a mile. If you want to work that in, make sure you test out the rotation. Light and Dark Veil are situational. And Curative Prayer is a good skill, but I would never use it, it has a cast time. I much rather Howlet move forward and attack. Now let's look at his vision card. It supports Sword Red Mage, Katana, Glove, and Books. Sword Red Mage and Katana are getting a lot of VC in Global lately. These two teams are very close to being ready. I have included some units that can benefit from this VC on the screen. The stats are HP 385 and Magic 162. The party abilities are Magic Man Eater 30, Spirit up 12, and Strike Resistance of 20. It is very clear, Sword Red Mage group is meant to counter-strike teams with Howlet, Reagan, and Ferris from FF5. The bestowed abilities are Magic up 10% and Slash Resistance up 10. Not bad, could be better if it was AoE or single target resistance. The global upgrade is Agility up for the units showing here. This is very good. Howlet is a bit slow, so I prefer to run his agility support rather than his offensive support. If the global buff is 10%, it will improve his kit tremendously. Moving over to his equipments and Espers. His farmable sword is his best weapon in my opinion, but the blood sword is a close second. It will work very well with his damage absorption. In his second slot, I like the Alex ring the most for the accuracy. Silver-rimmed spectacles is also good. Survival Fest can give him some single target res, which he has none in his kit. The TMR slot is really for initial turn order adjustments. He won't have time to cast a third buff 99% of the time. His best Espers are the usual suspects. Regular Bahamut is the top choice. Typhoon has good accuracy and slash damage. Dark Ramu has very high speed and man-eater. Great Demon is a magic-based Esper with high strike resistance. Lastly, Dark Shiva has high agility and damage. Now his Truststones. I like the luck set on the defensive side to help with his accuracy. But the defense set is very good for the healing power. Besides HP and luck up, I would recommend strike resistance up and magic resistance up to pair with his magic penetration debuff. On the offensive side, I have agility set on him. I always give him either the Alex ring or the silver-rimmed spectacles. That is good enough to not miss randomly. He won't be going after high evasion units. If I fight wind evade, my other DPS units should be able to take them out. But if you don't want to give him any other accuracy item, aim is the set you want to go with. The abilities are Spirit Penetration up and Slash Attack up, Magic up and Healing Power up, Ice Attack up and Magic Attack up. You can replace the highlighted ones if those fit your team better. Next up, some sample teams. The first one is the most common ice slashing team with Reagan and Felis. Howlet is on his Rune Knight sub, equipped with his haste dispel support and cleric intuition. The reaction ability I have is auto cure. This team's win condition is high agility plus haste. Howlet will dispel enemies' haste and my whole team will be hasted. They won't lap the other teams very often, but it will take away their win condition. And Howlet and Reagan will attack often enough to absorb HP and stay alive. The vision cards are Dark Golem for AoE resistance 20, defense 8 and acquired AP up 38%. In his sub slot, his own VC for Magic Man-Eater and Spirit up and Strike resistance up. On Reagan, Laswell card for 15% agility and some attack for Reagan. The acquired AP up does not stack. In his sub slot, I have Dark Odin for more attack and some single target resistance. On Felis, he has the Trembling Heart for magic up 50% and very little AoE resistance. It is here mainly for the lower casting time. And he has the Black Rose card as a sub for more agility. If you get the Great Demon Esper, his strike resistance can be at 65 in this setup. Manipul is the other AoE resistance 20 vision card for Ice. Dark Golem is not released in Global yet. If I had Ice Shiva, it will be a main on Howlet, and move Dark Golem over to Felis. With this setup, Howlet has 30 AoE resistance and it will go up to 45 when his HP drops below 70%. Single target resistance is only at 6 and there is no way to increase it, unless you give him the Sweetheart Pouch TMR. His slash penetration starts off at 60, it can go up to 100 with Drain Evocation. His spirit penetration is only at 10 to start and it can go up to 60 when he uses his LB. With this build, his damage is still very good. I am relying on his penetration debuffs, barrier and HP absorption to survive. The synergy between Howlet and Reagan is really good. The second team is the all-out offensive version of the previous team. If the global agility buff is 10% or more, this could be a better setup. Howlet is still on his Rune sub and his haste dispel support ability. I equipped him with Sharp Mind as the second support for more spirit penetration. And silver rimmed spectacles for another 20 spirit pen and 36 accuracy. In this team, Howlet can reach 100 on both slash and spirit penetration. The third team I have prepared is the Triple Ice Bro team with Reagan and Ice Jaden. Howlet is back on his Cleric Intuition support ability. The vision cards are freezes as main on Howlet for the Ice Attack up and HP up, plus 30% magic up from Bestowed. the Trembling Heart as a sub for more magic up. On Reagan, Laswell VC as main, and Dark Odin as sub. Then on Jaden, Dark Golem and Black Rose. I do really want Dark Shiva, it will make this team much stronger, but it's okay. This is an anti-slash team with Jaden and Howlet both lowering enemies' slash penetration. It can do some serious work against slash heavy teams. The last team comp I have for today is a more traditional setup with Snow as the tank. The Fruit of Life Vision card is on Reagan as a sub for more slash resistance. And Snow has his own VC as a sub for some defense penetration. Out of the teams I have shown today, I think this is the least effective one. Even though it has the most balanced vision card setup, but somehow the damage just isn't enough. I think mainly because I don't have Dark Shiva. Next up is the weapon group slide. This is the Sword Red Mage team currently available in JP. I have no idea why we still don't have the Moonlight VC, but anyways. The vision cards inside the box are the most ideal setup for the team showing above. With Ferris, and couple of duo element VCs, this team will do some work. Before going into sample matches, here is my final thoughts on Heavensblade Howlet. He is not the easiest unit to use. His survivability comes from a different source compared to most other units. His lower accuracy and shorter range are problematic. His always-on haste dispel is very good, but it requires him to have access to haste to take full advantage. He can do some decent damage and chains very well with Reagan, and has superb synergy with Ice Jaden. But I don't think that is enough of a reason to pull for him during his initial release. He does bring magic-based damage to Ice, but overall Ice has been in a pretty bad place for a few months now in JP. Since he is not a limited time unit, I would say he is a skip. You are very likely to pick him up later on down the line. Dialdo is coming next, and he is a far superior unit. With that said, let's see some sample matches. First match is the Triple Ice Bro team going up against Mono Lightning. Howlet starts off with his damage absorption buff for Jaden and himself, also giving him a 50% all damage reduction barrier, reaction block rate up 50 for 3 turns. His second action, a self buff. Increase slash and magic resistance by 25, and grants himself a counter to physical attack reaction ability. Jaden's LB just lowered their slash penetration and recovered some HP from Howlet's buff. Howlet follows up with his own LB, increase spirit penetration by 50 and break all damage barriers, then deals large damage. Howlet procced both reactions. Countered physical attack, then auto-cure. Re-raise removed by Jaden, and Howlet goes in for the finish. Next we have the traditional Ice team against Strike. This should be the most common Strike team in Global now. Let's see what Ice can do. HP absorb for group and 50% damage barrier for self. In this match I turned off Reagan's group buff, so he will go straight up after Courage. Additional counter for Howlet is also online. Reigns 140 is coming. I have 100 AoE resistance build video, check it out. He takes no damage from any AoE attacks. This is Howlet's triangular AoE attack. Dispel all buffs, damage medium, and lower target slash and magic penetrations by 40 for 3 turns. It's okay, Fella's job is done. All I needed from him is haste. Howlet goes in after Reagan for the chain damage. The two of them were just healing constantly. Strike no problem. The next match we have Snow and Reagan against Monolite. HP absorb on Snow and Howlet. Additional counter and slash resistance up. Howlet's lower slash penetration attack onto 2 slash damage dealers also dispel all their buffs. Follow-up attack from Bart's cannot be dispelled with this ability. A very beautiful ice chain. Bart's can do some crazy damage on his own. Snow self-heal plus HP regen. That's a close one. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.